Hey there guys, this is Miss Simmons, and today what we're going to go through is the formulas for the area of your most common geometric shapes. Now, remember that area is the space inside of an object, perimeter is the distance around. So whenever we're doing this, picture yourself measuring how much stuff is inside of the shape, or how much room is inside of the shape. Now, a formula is just like a set of steps that you take in order to solve a problem. So all of these formulas have the same basic steps. Just make sure you're taking note of which formulas go with what shape. So here we go. For a square, you have the formula of area equals base times height. That's what B stands for in H. So you've got your base. So the base of your shape is like the bottom. It's what the shape is sitting on. So this would be the base. And then the height goes from the base straight up. So you have to be careful with that because a lot of people get confused when we get to those shapes that are a little bit more curvy and they want to use the wrong thing. So height goes straight up from the base to the topmost point of the shape. So for a square, you've got base times height, or you can say length times width. They're the same thing. So over here, you need to show your work. You need to show each step you take. So the area, A stands for area, is equal to the base times the height. And then I know that the area is going to be equal to 5 times 5 because with a square, you should have the same base as you do height. And then when you write the area, you want to put the unit squared. And the reason why is because we're actually fitting little tiny squares inside this square. Okay, so that's your formula for a square. The next one on your sheet should be the rectangle. And guess what? It's essentially the same. Okay, so you've still got area equals base times height, or you can say length times width. You'll still want to label your base and your height because you guys are new at this. So here's the base, it's like the bottom, and then your height goes straight up from the base to the topmost point of your shape. So here I've got my formula, area equals base times height. Then your area is going to be equal to 14 times 7 because my base is 14, my height is 7. And then when I write my answer, the area is equal to 98 centimeters squared. Again, that is because you have centimeters, centimeters, and it's like we're trying to fit tiny rows of squares inside this shape. Okay, next shape on our list is the parallelogram. And that's basically like a rectangle that you've taken and just stretched the top and bottommost corner. So you have to be careful with this. This is what I was talking about when I said that height can be a little tricky. So your formula is area equals base times height. You don't want to say length times width because sometimes people get the width confused with the height. Coming over here, my area is equal to the base times the height. And notice that I chose 2.5 and 1.8. So we do need to label our base and our height here. So the base is like the bottom, it's what it sits on. And then remember, you want to go from the base all the way up to the topmost part of the shape. So this is my height. Okay. Remember that when you go to the doctor and when the doctor measures your height, you don't stand at an angle. You don't stand like this. That would be strange. Okay. They don't measure you from your left toe up to your arm that's outstretched. They measure you straight up and down. So never choose a slanted line as the height. Don't ever do that. That is not correct. So over here, once I work it out, base times height, I know that my base is 2.5, my height is 1.8, and I kind of covered up my measurement there. Let me move that over. I get that the area is equal to 4.5 meters squared. Okay, don't forget your squared. No squared, no credit. So, last one for today. I know there's one more on here, but that's a different video entirely. So, for your triangle, this one can get a little tricky. I have a little saying that can help you out, but here's the formula. So the area is equal to half of the base times the height. Remember, we don't need the little star in there to show times. If it makes you feel better, though, we can put it in there. There we go. So the area is equal to half of the base times the height, or you can say the area is equal to the base times the height, and then you divide everything by 2. So my trick to help you remember is if it starts with a T, it's divided by 2. So that means the triangle starts with a T, so you divide by 2. Over here I've shown my work for working out the area of this triangle. So the area is equal to half of the base times the height. So that would be half of 14 times 10. So I'm going to label my stuff again. So here's the base. And here's my height over here. Notice that we extended it. Remember what I said about not taking the slanted portion? I still meant it. You still want it straight up and down. So half of 14 times 10. So think to yourself, okay, what's half of 14? Well, half of 14 is 7. So I need to do 7 times 10. 7 times 10 is 70. And then our unit is meters squared. All right, guys. So that's about it. Pretty basic stuff. You can rewind the video if you need to. Remember, this trapezoid is a totally different video, so that can stay blank. Your teacher may ask you to do something different, but right now we're leaving that blank. So review your work, make sure you understand it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening.